on this interview real quick is the 3 trading strategies. I think you remember this when I told you about there's day trading, when you're buying a stock or security or crypto and you're selling it that day. There's swing trading, which you're holding for more than a day, all the way up to almost a year. You know, that's swing trading, where you're buying when it's low and you're waiting for some good news for the stock to rise, and then you're selling it, or the crypto or whatever. And then there's investing. Investing is buying and holding something for longer than a year. You get tax benefits for doing this. It's what a lot of the rich people do.
Let's just start. Excuse me. Let's just have you introduce who you are a little bit, and you know, like maybe even if you want to, you know, how we know each other, and you know, what got you into?
Yeah, what got me into like crypto and stuff like that.
Having problems with my internet. Sorry.
I got you back. Okay, I got it. So yeah, I'm Hollis. I grew up with Era3TV, Jow, and I came on here today we're doing this interview today to talk about crypto, basically. And me and my brother kind of had an interesting run-in with crypto. We were messing with mostly altcoins and stuff like that, and we actually did end up making some pretty good profits going with that. And so I guess, would you like me to just dive straight into kind of what we were doing and kind of explain that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So how do I explain? So crypto is basically like a huge Excel sheet that it basically shows where all transactions go. And when a computer is mining, it's verifying all of those transactions. And so whenever you're basically, those ledgers are built in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. And the only difference is when you get to Ethereum and Cardano, those ledgers are a little bit more complicated. And you can kind of do different things, like I guess you could kind of liken it to like Excel, like adding different, like, you know, when you add different functions to something in like Excel spreadsheets, it would be kind of along that line. So what I was using would be, we were using, what's the Chinese one? Binance coin. And so the whole network was based off of Binance coin, and we would use a swapping app called PancakeSwap, which is what you would use to buy like new cryptos and stuff like that. And it was in the middle of what's called altcoin season, and every 4 years there's like a speculative kind of landslide on crypto as a whole. So basically every 4 years everybody makes a ton of money on crypto, everybody loses a bunch of money. So then after that point, everybody doesn't like it anymore and they lost a bunch of money, people are skeptical, and it rides that wave every 4 years. So every 4 years you're able to kind of ride that speculative wave. And that's kind of what was happening with the altcoins. Everybody, I don't know if you remember during COVID when everybody was going crazy about crypto and crazy about stock and everything. Do you remember that time?
Yeah. GameStop.
Yep, the GameStop time, all of that. Like, people were going crazy about crypto, and so my brother stumbled upon something called Safe.
That's when I first started really hearing about all the craze of everything going on, and I had just heard about the metaverse announcement sometime during that time, and so I was all like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, exactly. And so because at that point it was what you would call a bear market, it was a market where it was very easy to make money. Don't get me wrong, people could still mess up, people still messed up all the time, but your chances were a lot more likely of making money at that point. and my brother got Safe Moon, and he ended up turning like $1,000 into like 10,000
Nice.
worth of, yeah. And I ended up at the end of it putting in like 400 by putting in like I think 400 and turning it into like 6,000, I think. And the ways to actually convert it to cash were a little bit weird. I can get into that in a little bit. But what we were doing is we bought like Safe Moon, Foxcoin. There was like Elongate, like all of these stupid names for like all of these coins. But my main strategy was buying brand new coins that had somewhat of a use case. And you know the white papers that say like what a coin does. So we would just.
I read a lot of those when I first got in. I was reading so many white papers.
They're all
so crazy.
They're all. So have you ever heard of the phrase a solution looking for a problem? Oftentimes crypto is that. It's a solution, but we don't know what it's.
Yeah, I can dig that idea.
Yeah, and so it's a solution, but you don't know like what it's really like too. You know what I mean? So we rode that speculative wave, and it crashed. I mean, like they all do. So you know, it was a good idea to pull some money out of it and kind of do some stuff. But yeah, it was a fun time, and I can't wait for it to happen again. I know what I'm gonna do. I know what I'm gonna do next time. But
the next top of that 4-year would be about a year from now.
Yeah, it's coming back, bro.
That's what we're talking about.
So what do you think about the use case right now? Like the use case about crypto? Like what are you kind of hot on it, or what are you thinking?
Well, I haven't been like diving into the ecosystems as much in the last like couple months, just because I don't know, haven't had necessarily the money to move around in the ecosystem. But you know, I definitely overall I see Bitcoin as, you know, an awesome store of value. Like if I wanted to put money away for savings periodically, like I think that's what I would want to be doing, is putting it in Bitcoin and not even in a regular savings account. Of course, you'd want to hedge and do both, but you know, like pretty confident in Bitcoin for that kind of use case. And of course, the decentralization that comes with it, buying that piece of the network, being able to see where that goes in the future, and the ability to take that with you anywhere you want, as long as you got your seed phrase or however it evolves over time. You know, you're able to take that anywhere you want in the world, and no one can take that stuff from you, as long as you're smart about it and learn about it. So Bitcoin for sure, that's the biggest use case. Might always be in the crypto space. Might be the biggest use case.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Ethereum is turning out to be, you know, like internet
it's expensive.
Money. It is expensive, and so it's interesting to see the way that that's all evolving. I don't know. I used to be, you know, because I had just jumped in. It's like, oh man, this is the one, you know. But I don't know. We'll see how things go over time. I really personally, I might have more money in Ethereum, but I like Cardano better. My operating within a Cardano ecosystem has just been super smooth, and I like, you know, my ability to stake in that ecosystem is easier. It's so much more fluid. It's easily accessible. It's essentially, you know, what do they call that? Self-custody staking. So like the entire time I'm staking, I still have my, you know, Cardano. And
you're staking Cardano?
If I want to take it out, I can take it.
Are you staking Cardano right now?
I'm staking some. Not a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what percentage do they give you back on Cardano?
I don't remember, honestly. I think I'd have to look it up to be accurate.
Oh, it's
I don't
okay.
want to say the wrong thing.
Well, it's okay.
It's a good percent.
Is it like what, 3 to 5?
It's like
3 to 5 ish, something like that.
I think it's close to 5.
Yeah. That's cool.
I know every 5 days, because I don't have that much. Every 5 days, I get like 1 Cardano.
That's not bad. What's the price of it right now?
Like 30-ish cents.
It's 30 cents right now, Cardano.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gone up since I bought mine. I only bought like, I don't know, like $70 worth at the time. I just transferred some over the other day. I bought like another $20 worth. But
nice.
I stake that right now and the CRO token on crypto.com. I don't stake a lot of that one either. I'm working my way up to be able to stake for one.
Oh, crypto.com?
Yeah, I like crypto.com a lot.
Yeah. So, but the thing is so let's get into some of that. Crypto.com kind of is a good segue for this, because that's what frustrates me, is that, like, how is it decentralized if your account is through crypto.com and they have your contact info, they have all of your, like, crypto.com is like the credit card company's way of like keeping a hold of you, because it's like made by Visa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, so the decentralized aspect, I guess, from what I'm understanding you asking the question, is like, so if I go on crypto.com and then I buy Bitcoin, right? And you're saying that that's not necessarily decentralized, which you'd be right, because you're going through a centralized intermediary to procure the Bitcoin. Once you have the Bitcoin, you take that in your personal wallet, and that is decentralized. As long as you use the right kind of wallet.
So, like,
you have to. There is ways. There's fewer and fewer nowadays. Completely decentralized ways of getting into the ecosystem, but I don't think that there's necessarily. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know this, but I don't think that, from what I know of it, there's really a 100% decentralized way to operate
cash out
crypto as a whole. Because not every crypto and not every place that you go is decentralized. The most decentralized,
that's what I'm saying,
is Bitcoin, and so it's a scale. Like, what is Bitcoin being the most decentralized on the scale, and then you have, over here is, I don't know, a bank. I don't know.
Well, and so
the most centralized crypto, I don't know, Solana.
Well, what makes it decentralized? The moment you sign up with like crypto.com, and trust me, I had to use crypto.com to like cash out crypto, because if you try to cash out, if you're just a normal person trying to cash out like your earnings, like let's say you're doing altcoin trading on Pancake, most people don't even figure out how to cash their stuff out, or they never do, or they never learn to switch it back to Binance Coin so that it can rest there, and you're not on the wild rides on whatever altcoin you're sitting on. You know what I mean? To pull back out and get into that. And then also there's the tax liability on, like, do these things even exist as real entities? But I won't get into that right now. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, decentralization is it's great and everything, but when you show your name through like crypto.com or something like that, you kind of get bagged and tagged. Like, that's not decentralized anymore. You know what I mean? I think that's what Visa's goal with that is, that they're worried that they're going to have a lot of crypto users. They're worried that they're going to have a lot of crypto users out there. They're worried that they're going to have a lot of unidentified crypto users out there, and they're not going to be able to see like who's trading what. And so even me, like, I would advise being careful on like what activity you flow through your crypto.com account, and do realize that there's also other ways to cash out other than crypto.com, like through
for sure,
like through Trust Wallet and stuff like that, and because I think
I have a Trust Wallet. That's the one I use, and then there's a lot of different ideas. I've heard a lot of different people's methods that they do. Some people, they go like they don't even cash out through the exchange. They cash out, they send it from their exchange to a PayPal account, and then from PayPal they cash it out that way. Or
they send like crypto to a PayPal account?
On crypto.com, you can top off one of those Visa cards with your profits, and you can just spend it that way.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So they're positioning themselves kind of like at the gateway, like, and they're kind of saying, hey, here's a really easy...
well, they're making... Well, I don't know exactly how that one will work. I'm sure it probably works similar, if not the exact same, with the gift cards as it would a debit card, with the, whole, making a little portion off of each transaction. And so, I mean, they're in the end right there if, they're getting that portion of those transactions through that way, you know what I mean? Like, hey, if someone wants to spend their profits, and they're spending their profits like this, and then Visa gets a portion of that whole thing for offering that card to them through crypto.com,
Yeah, it's one of those, it's an interesting process, kind of how they piece that whole thing together and how they position themselves in the crypto space.
It's really going to depend for everybody, like with that kind of scale, because there's a completely decentralized way to enter the system and exit the system for the most part, I believe. And then, but that is getting more and more limited. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. Kind of like you're talking about. They want a piece of all of that action, and they don't want anybody being able to move in and out, as they please,
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, I mean, as long as somebody can figure it out, like, you can still be tracked through Bitcoin because it's an open ledger, right? It's like not a private, that's not one of those privacy coins, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, like,
it's like a lot of banner for somebody to, if they're new hearing this, but this is the kind of stuff that you start to learn about when you're going through the system. It's all really interesting stuff. It's all, it's a little complex, but it's really exciting too,
Well, and I mean, it is complex, but at the end of the day, it, like, if you can visualize Excel, and you can visualize that like all of these transactions are just another line on an Excel sheet, and then it has your random assortment of 26 letters and numbers, and that's the idea of your wallet. And it's a ledger that's open to every single computer, and by the simple nature that it's open to the public, and it's verified by all of the other computers on the blockchain. That's what makes it so. That's the value there. Is that you can't go in there and mark in the ledger, hey, Hollis has 200 bitcoins, because all the other computers have verified it, and so you can't just go in there and change it because everybody's. It's like imagine you're in the middle of a prison yard, and like everybody has a flashlight on you. It's like everybody's looking at you. You can't just walk in and go and change something. And that inherently is the value of it. And then when you go down into generation 2, which is Ethereum, those are when you can add functions, and that's when they add what's called smart contracts. Now, they try to say like, oh, you could, smart contracts are basically just having certain functions done, or maybe verified, like you can verify that you sold a land deed or something. Like, this is what brings it back to what I was saying, is there's a solution but no problem. Like, it's like there a lot, because they say, oh yeah, crypto, these smart contracts could revolutionize like the property industry, like when they're selling houses and stuff. Like, you could have verified deeds and everything, but it's like, is there any proof that these industries need this? Now, this is the big question that this is what leads me into the big question right now for crypto is what is its main use? And I was thinking the other day, and like this is I don't know, I think this is a pretty interesting concept. But what I was thinking is this guy said that crypto is nothing better than a speculative asset. And I was thinking to myself, if crypto is nothing better than a speculative asset, why don't we just use crypto on businesses? So each business issues crypto like almost as if taking place of stock. So instead of using stock for companies, we use crypto for companies. Or this is where companies are going to love to hear this, is how about they just issue stock and they issue crypto on their name too? So now if you imagine you had Amazon release a crypto coin that was behind their company.
Hold on a second. Sorry.
But did you hear that? Did you hear what I just said? Like imagine if Amazon released a crypto on their company. Don't you think people would buy it? Like if the crypto is back behind their company. Like it being used as like a speculative asset.
I think what they're trying to do right now is actually tokenize the stocks now. I'd have to look more into the actual details of that, but I'm pretty sure I heard that recently, that there's a move for that.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting to see how that goes. I mean, I don't know, like, it's kind of interesting to me because it's really like knowing like the really fine details of like what's the difference, because if I did want to buy a stock, I can buy a stock, right?
Yeah, but you can only trade
online right now if I go on.
Yeah, but you can only trade
what's
stocks.
What's the difference of it being tokenized?
So the difference is that it's on a public ledger. You can trade it 24/7, whereas with the stock market, you can only trade from like 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. So with crypto, and honestly, what company wouldn't
would they change that? I don't know if they want to change that for stock.
They're already doing. There are
have so much control over those ledgers still, wouldn't they?
So the company
design them.
Amazon would have to release if they did an internal blockchain, that would completely, nobody would believe in that crypto, because that's not the spirit of crypto. The spirit of crypto is having it but they wouldn't have to. I mean, they could start off the project with so many coins and do an initial coin offering. And I'm just saying, what I'm saying is that we have to come to the recognition that as you can't have a currency and a speculative asset at the same time. So Bitcoin can't be an investment like gold and also be a currency at the same time, because those two things just it just doesn't work. I mean, in the from the point of the fact that Bitcoin, it's going to change so much in value, that how can you use something like that as a currency if you're worried that it's going to lose?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you wake up the next day and your dollar's worth it's worth 10% less. But I feel bad saying that because we do have inflation, so it does kind of happen. So I guess
that's true. But in the other direction too, if you spend that and it's gained, let's say it gains 10%, but it can still, it's projected, it's believed, once you understand it and know it, to keep filling up more and more and more through those cycles and stuff. So if holding that it's going to over time go up in value, why do you want to spend it now?
Yeah, it's true.
Unless you are trading in order to sell it, to exit, to get more of it at a later time. And that's the only way that necessarily makes sense. I mean,
but just,
I don't know.
Yeah, so it's an
interesting commodity for regular people to access, though, I suppose, if they wanted to just ride cycles and stick all their spending cash into Bitcoin and spend it as freely as they wanted to when they're riding it on up, with one of those cards or something like that.
Yeah,
if they weren't caring about the what do you call it, being a hedge kind of facet of it.
Yeah, it creates a kind of,
if they didn't want to use that,
it's a kind of interesting conundrum that, like, even in the crypto space, that I think people kind of forget, because it's like something that's so unstable that it's going to change like 40-50%. You know, how can you use that as a currency? And so I was just thinking, like, if we're using it yeah, and so if we're using it as a speculative asset, like, it could be used as a more, like, a company's crypto could be a more volatile version of a security, like, as compared to its stock. I don't know, that's way out there, but maybe a good way to use it, because I don't know how at this point.
So in all of this, like, when it comes down to, like, what what we've been talking about, how have you been able to, like, best educate yourself on all of the topics and, like, everything, like, what we've been talking about?
That's a great question, and the best advice I can give to a newcomer is, do not look at people telling you to follow a specific stock or a specific coin. Listen to people that are teaching you theory and teaching you how to identify if a stock or a coin is good. And if you see how me and Zhao are talking, how we're trying to get to the bottom of how something works, rather than, just sitting here spouting, oh, you need to be buying Dogecoin, you need to be buying Ethereum, you see how, like, in this conversation, we're not sitting here pushing for somebody to buy a certain coin. That's when you start hearing people say that, that's when you got to be, a little bit weary, and look for more the theory behind things, and stuff that kind of points your decision making in the right direction. So, yep, that's my answer.
Do you have any, like, a specific, like, a book or a person that you've listened to that you like, or a specific place that you go on social media?
It's kind of stuff that I can't remember, like, specific YouTubers, because a lot of the ones that I watched were, like, years ago. I do have to still find that book. I still haven't found it. I think I probably lost it at this point. But it was literally, I went to Barnes and Nobles in the mall. I'm a very old school guy when it comes to books and stuff. I don't do, like, audiobooks. So I just went to the mall and just asked the lady if there was any stock or crypto books, and I just bought the beginner's one that was there. So anybody can do it. I would just recommend that. That's one of the things that taught me a lot, was learning the basics of, like, stocks and stuff like that, and then that kind of helps you to understand. Then you understand forex. You know what forex is? Like, foreign exchange currency, like people that trade currencies and stuff like that. Have you heard of that before?
I think I've heard a little bit. Yeah. I think actually, I heard something about that.
That's rampant.
Trading foreign currencies.
Yeah, that's rampant with fraud right now on Instagram. So be careful with forex. But yeah, so you'll see that there's different types of trading, but there's three types of trading, actually. There's forex, there's crypto, and then there's stock. And one of those basic books will help you a lot with trying to figure that out. So that's what I recommend as far as books. As far as YouTubers, I don't know. I mean, I used like I said, like trading stocks and trading crypto, it's really good to first learn financial literacy. And the only person I see online that has good financial literacy is like Dave Ramsey, but he's kind of like, your classic
he's
parents.
Old school.
Like,
I like him though.
Yeah, he's old school. Like, pay off your house, buy a car cash. If you're not, well, what the hell are you doing with all that debt? like that type of guy.
Hey, I've listened to a lot of that stuff, and it's worked super good for me. I don't got a lot of debt. I got like 2 grand in debt.
Dude, props, man, props, because I would say like most, like if you have $500 in your savings account, apparently you have more money than like half of America. Because I would be willing to bet most of America has a negative net worth. You know what I mean? If they were actually look at their debt to their assets and stuff like that. So I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
I'm riding that line pretty good.
Yeah, it's like financial literacy is very interesting, but the financial literacy is one side of the coin to, you know, stocks and trading and stuff, and I would also recommend, if someone's new, to look into IRAs, like Roth IRAs and 401ks. That's a simple way to become a millionaire. It's not glamorous at all, but I mean, after 40, 50 years, you know, you have a nest egg to live off of. And there's a lot of people right now that you're going to see are paying the consequences for not doing that, you know. And that's a, like, if your job doesn't offer one, make sure you're looking into that. But yeah, it's
That's
interesting,
good, because you actually answered the next question that I was going to ask, I think. So that was
what was the next question?
It was essentially like, what do you think is the most valuable thing that you've learned? I think you kind of answered that in tandem with, you know, the prior question.
Yeah.
Unless you think there's something more valuable you've learned.
But see, it might be. Oh, sorry, somebody was talking to me on my stream. Thank you. I'm trying to. I'll check into that in a little bit. We're doing a Discord call, so that might be why. Sorry, what was your question again? Or what were you saying? Oh, you were saying.
Oh no, I was just saying. I think you answered them both, and
Yeah.
I guess while we're right here at this point, since we're like, I was just gonna encourage anybody that's watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, leave some comments on what you guys think about this stuff. And I guess I'll move on to, you know, a more relaxed question. I asked you it last time, but since we're having to redo it, I might as well ask you. Who do you think is going to win, Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg? It's now confirmed they're going to be fighting in
They're
Rome.
really
in the
going to be
Colosseum.
fighting?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're in just your world, huh, man?
Yeah. I've seen.
It's funny, some of the stuff y'all mentioned. I'm like, you got to know about it.
No, well, no, I've
That's
seen,
good. You're honed in on what you're doing.
I've read about it. I just didn't. I was actually talking to a guy, one of my customers at my job. He works for Meta, and I asked him about it, and he seemed to think that it wasn't going to happen. So I don't know. That's why I was surprised when you said that, because I actually asked him.
Yeah, but he works for Meta.
Definitely Mark. one of my chatters thinks it's Mark. Dude, Mark's gonna win because he's got that BJJ background. He's got the Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He looks like he's actually taking it seriously, and he won that tournament. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I know that the way that it is, everybody seems to think it's definitely going to be Mark, but most people, or it's probably like a good, like, you know, 60-40 split on who wants who to win. I think most people want Elon to win.
I used to be,
I personally want Elon to win.
You do? I used to be the biggest Elon fanboy. I used to trade Tesla stock all the time. I used to be like all about Elon Musk, and then like I actually like watched him. Like my brother used to make fun of me because I was such an Elon fanboy, and so he would always send me these videos about stuff that Elon did. And if you look at it, like here, I don't want to shatter your whole love story for Elon, but look up some videos on him. It's pretty crazy. Some of the shit that he's doing.
I've looked up some stuff. I don't know how much real negative stuff I've ended up seeing, just because I do tend to look at, you know, the stuff that's more positive and cool and whatnot. Yeah. But I'll try to check that out. But
yeah,
I don't know.
They're gonna do it in the Colosseum.
Just the way that,
They're gonna do it in the Colosseum.
Yeah, I guess there's not even. It's not gonna be And there's not supposed to be like a ring. It's not UFC's not putting it on. Their companies are putting the whole thing on. The UFC won't be involved. They have their own personnel and everything. And like, I don't know. They're not going to have an octagon in there. I don't think they're going to do it like, you know.
They should do it to the death.
I think on the dirt.
They should just fight to the death,
right?
And then whoever wins takes over.
You know, the thing that Lex Friedman, the way he described it, was that these fights are agreeing to fight to the death, just not go all the way.
Yeah. Whoever wins gets to take
essentially what
the respective
the other one's company.
Yeah, gets to, so if Elon wins, he gets to take Meta, and then if Mark wins, he gets to take X.
Yeah.
So what do you think about
definitely want.
What do you think about Twitter being named to X?
You know, I like it. I think it's different, and he's fulfilling a lifelong dream of his. So I think it's pretty cool. You know, the name and all that doesn't necessarily matter to me. It's like what's on the platform.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's. I think I was just a little bit like frustrated with how he was all talking about the free speech stuff, but I don't know. It was like, because like, did you hear about how he banned the account of that guy that was tracking his planes or whatever, and he said he wouldn't, and then I guess he went and did that.
I think you told me about it last time.
Yeah, I just wasn't.
But you told me again.
Yeah, I wasn't too happy about that, but oh well. I mean, sometimes it's tough with stuff like that to kind of make the right decisions.
Yeah. Well, you can't. You're gonna mess up, slip up somewhere, and not make everybody happy all the time. I think that his is at least the most free or whatever. I suppose, like, because we could bring this into the conversation. I don't mind, because like the thing that gets me. So like my girlfriend got her Facebook hacked or whatever, and got her profile stolen, and she had to make a new one, and the other one is actually still hacked.
Didn't that happen to you too? Or no, that was your girl that happened to. Yeah.
That's hers. And so, let's see. So it's still hacked, and I reported it a bunch of times. A whole bunch of other people did. And yeah, she can't get it back. The other person still has a hold of it. All the information that's on there, and they're still operating on it. And she hasn't heard anything back from Facebook. I haven't heard anything back from Facebook.
Damn.
And and then I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, dude, I'm scrolling through Facebook, and how can you like block all these posts and throw these posts and all this stuff? And when I'm scrolling through, I see obvious ads that are like scam ads that if you click on them, they're gonna like.
So the account is, you see that it's posting like ads and stuff or whatever.
No. What I'm saying is like there's that going on, and then at the same time, like when I'm scrolling through Facebook,
all the ads.
Like you'll see it, like how can they not track these paid scam ads and be able to remove them? And they can monitor people's personal profiles so easily and be able to take down your posts if they disagree with something or put you in Facebook jail or whatever. But they
can't give you your
they
account.
Can't actually scam it. Yeah, and they can't catch these like hackers or whatever it actually is. Essentially, people, from what I understand, people are being tricked and socially engineered to just actually give over control of their profile without knowing it.
So
by clicking on something like that, or
do you think that somebody did hacked her SIM? And because I think nowadays, doesn't she have to be on the phone, like on your phone, on her phone number? So whoever, I would call the phone company. Because I think what's happening is somebody has her phone number, they have a copy of her phone number, and what they're doing is they're using that SIM to like send password resets to her Facebook. That's why Facebook can't get rid of it, because she has whatever that hacker has control of her phone number.
That makes sense
So I would
because
look
I heard
into
a
that.
different story about how somebody's Twitter got hacked and taken over, an
Yep.
influencer,
Yep.
and he tracked it down and he believes that it happened through a Verizon store, which I have Verizon, and
Yep.
that it
Verizon's one of
happens
them.
through a specific place. I think he found the specific person who actually did it and all this stuff. But anyways, we have Verizon, and she just recently it happened. This she just got a new phone. She sent the old phone off
Oh,
and just got this phone. And when she just got this phone,
that's when it all started
uh,
happening.
yeah.
So I'm almost
So it could
wondering.
be exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. To
That
Drake.
somebody in the company through that
Yeah.
whole chain,
Yeah. Somebody
dang.
in that. Somebody
So
in that.
someone has access to all of her stuff.
So yeah, if they have that, they could they could
They
potentially.
could
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
could just be on her phone just like she is.
Yeah, yeah. Here I'm gonna take this to answer one of my comments real quick. Drake, I'm a wholeheartedly an Elon hater. I am an Elon hater now too, so I'm definitely in that same boat with you. To get back into what you're saying, Joe. Yeah, like that, like they can, like I don't know the extent of what they can get into. I think he has to have look at your, he has to be able to look at your emails or look at her emails, like maybe her email account for some of those accounts. But yeah, just with your phone number, I think he or she can get into, I believe, Facebook and stuff like that. At least reset it.
Dang, I'm gonna have to tell her to talk to Verizon and see
Tell
about
them
that
that,
because
yeah.
I don't even know I don't even know what they can do.
Well, what they can do is they can check and see how many SIM cards are pinging that tower. I heard Verizon was actually one of the companies that I heard Verizon was one of the companies that people, it had like a break in like their calling thing, that like people would call and try to get people's SIM cards and stuff. I don't know, you know. Yeah, and so I would check and see, that could be it. So
Dang, well, I'm
yeah.
super stoked I learned about this just now. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
glad
that's
you reminded me of that. That makes total sense.
yeah, yeah. So maybe you'll be able to
Uh,
get them to stop hacking that
so
stuff.
we touched on it earlier. I want to ask you. Oh wait, there's a different question. Um, so when it comes to we don't have to spend a lot of time on this necessarily. Um, but definitely want to get your opinion and thoughts and feelings on. Do you feel like the SEC and other agencies that are supposed to be, you know, protecting investors and protecting the public and their money? Do you think that they have your best interest in mind? Why or why not?
Um, I I mean, it just depends on if all the retail investors get together and do some sort of lawsuit. That's when they'll have their best interest, have our best interest in mind. So I guess to answer that question simply, no. I think they, it kind of proved with what's it called, the GameStop thing, that the SEC had the big institutions back over the retail investors, because they stopped trading at GameStop when I guess it's up to them to stop it when there's a lot of volatility. But there's a lot of people that were really trying to sell, and it just so happens that all the people that needed, all the big wigs that wanted to sell, got to sell their stuff, and retail investors didn't. I don't know. I may not be 100% factual on that, but that's what I think ended up happening. So I think midday they just paused trading on it. I think I remember that day because me and my brother did a couple of trades. I made some. I had a good trade on GameStop.
Did you follow a little bit at all of the case of SEC versus Ripple?
Ripple, gosh, Ripple. That's an old one, huh? It's an
The
old one.
XRP case.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And
It's been going on forever.
well, yeah. So they just so So like in that instance, with them coming against XRP or coming against currently Cardano, Polygon, they're coming against Coinbase for selling unregistered securities, and those ones, among others, are some of the ones that they, are saying are the securities. Security being something that you believe is going to go up in value, and it's coming off of the work of other people. And they're putting everything up against the Howey test, I suppose. But anyways, do you think that with them going against all those different coins, those companies for selling unregistered securities, do you think that it's factual? Do you think they it's the right thing for them to be doing? And like now that the Ripple XRP case is over, they ruled that secondary sales were not, and all of that. But now they're trying to repeal it, so they're trying to come back and say, "Oh, I know that we say it's not a security now, but we want to go back to court and try to say it's a security again."
Yeah, it clearly that type of activity clearly shows that they're just doing whatever goes with their best interests at the time. So I mean, if they're flip flopping on that back and forth, then yeah, it doesn't really seem like they're going with any solid plan. So I mean, I don't think they have. You know what I mean? Like when you're going in there,
I tend to agree.
Yeah, it clearly just shows that they don't really have any what's it called? They don't really have any clear convictions on how they feel on that. So
yeah, as I'm going along on this channel and talking to people who invest, I'm trying to make sure that I ask each person that it either has or is or intends to be investing specific questions like that one, just to get like a constant general consensus on like, hey, this is what the public actually feels about, these things, because I just don't see that, from the news that much anymore. And they talk to regular people and they just cut everybody's stuff up and make it look good or really bad, mainly. And they're out there looking for something that they can do to make their main point. And I want to be able to get, what people really think and how they really feel about things out there, like the news at least used to try to do,
Yeah, and try to be objective about things and just kind of show somebody's point of view and yeah, for newer people that are trying to get into this, I know I touched on it earlier, but I think the simplest way to like try to grow wealth is just you do your emergency fund, and then once you have an emergency fund, which is I would just start off with like $1,000 to $2,000, and then anything after that you just start investing in like a 401k or a Roth or like a Roth IRA, and you just from that point forward you try to lower your bills, you try to how much money you're making compared to how much you're putting out in bills, and go out there and get a better job and make more money and put more away. And like if you get good enough at trading, you can actually get to a point where like some people find out that they're good enough at trading and they just live off of their trades. And if you have the patience and you have to have like that cold decision making, like when something's right, you know what I mean? And you can't be like emotionally driven, like emotionally connected to something,
right?
You know what I mean? Or else it's gonna.
I want to try it at some point and see if I can do it, but I don't know if I can if I can be that kind of person or not. It'd be a nice way to.
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice and kind of fun way to live, but I like as you were describing that, I'm like, oh, could I be that guy? I think I'm a little too indecisive. Like,
if my best way of testing it is like in the middle. Like when you see yourself losing money, and like if you can like see yourself losing money and like put it away and like not obsess over it and not, because the number one thing that happens to people is they buy some stock and then they look on Robinhood and they see the number going down, and they freak out and then they sell, and then they lost money on their trade. And And I think the number one thing, oh yeah, the number one thing is knowing your strategy, and that's one thing that would probably be a good thing to go over on this interview real quick. Is the three trading strategies. I think you remember this when I told you about there's day trading when you're buying a stock or security or crypto and you're selling it that day. There's swing trading, which you're holding for more than a day, all the way up to almost a year. You know, that's swing trading where you're buying when it's low and you're waiting for some good news for the stock to rise, and then you're selling it, or the crypto or whatever. And then there's investing. Investing is buying and holding something for longer than a year. You get tax benefits for doing this. That's what a lot of the rich people do. And yeah, so your strategy, like the information that you're looking at to buy these stocks is so much different for each strategy. If you're day trading, you're literally looking at the patterns in the graphs. You're looking for resistance. You're looking for support. If you're swing trading, you're looking at, okay, is this healthy? Is this company healthy coming up to the quarterlies? Are they making good money? Is this a company I believe in? Are they going to be able to post good quarterlies in the next couple of months? And then investing is like, do you believe in this company in the long term? Do you believe this company is going to make it great in the future? You know? And so you see what I mean? Like, there's so much different information that you're using for all three of those stocks. Like a day trader doesn't give a crap if Amazon is the best company in the world. They just care that it's easy to trade on the 1 second, you know, or the
Right.
1 minute or the 2 minute, yeah, the hour. So yeah, that's once you start thinking about it like that, then you can learn how to actually trade something. Because you always have to remember, what was my strategy coming into this trade? Like, was I doing a long-term trade? Was I doing a day trade? Blah blah blah. So that's my soapbox.
For sure. I think that's really good advice. Finding the way that you are going to go about doing your investing, your trading, and
Yeah,
knowing what worked for you.
yeah, yeah,
Like for me, I do like the DCA strategy, dollar cost average in, and probably dollar cost average out, So,
yeah.
um,
Dollar cost averaging. Are you talking about like
mhm.
if you're having like a losing trade and trying to dollar cost average? Or?
No. So I'm talking about like when I'm investing, like I take a little bit of money at a time and buy
Oh,
little amounts
yeah.
over a long period of time, and then when the market goes up, doing the same thing but going out to
So
get profits going out, so riding it to the top, taking profits along the way. At least that's what I intend to do. I haven't necessarily done this yet. During this bear market, I've taken some profits here and there when I really didn't want to, but I needed to. So
yeah. No, yeah. I totally understand that. Um, I would say for you it sounds like just a 401k or a Roth IRA. I would do a Roth IRA because you pay taxes on the way in, and taxes are going to do nothing but get more expensive. So I would definitely do like a Roth IRA. Here, let me just fix this real quick. Um,
I have to look into that. I know with my work, they definitely do some of that stuff automatically in the background or whatever, but
yeah, but you can make
um,
one on
I don't
Robinhood,
know. The
and
one
they
I check out the most about is crypto because
the
I
what?
love crypto.
The one
So
that you
the stuff I learned, I've learned about the most when it comes to investing and any of that stuff has just
yeah.
been crypto. That's where any of my knowledge is necessarily at because
No,
it's just been the thing that drew me in.
yeah,
So,
crypto is it's definitely interesting, and especially it's in the name of your thing, the Era 3. The Web 3 is supposed to be their next big thing, but I'm not really too well educated on what Web 3 is. I don't
it's
really know.
exciting to watch to see the way that the space as a whole. When they say Web 3, that's essentially what they're talking about. Is the encompassment of like the whole idea of metaverse, the digital money, all the cryptos, different things like that, and NFTs, digital property. all the different yada yada, the whole shebang, and how it all comes together. It's what they call Web3. And, just like the evolution of technology, the new layer of the internet with all this stuff. And it's exciting to see like when all the everything falls, like where the everything lands.
Yeah.
What's going to survive, what is it all going to look like, because it's kind of interesting when they're talking about like these crypto and different things in the Wild West infant stages. Well, I don't know, the internet's still super new too. I think the internet's still in the Wild West stages. I think it's still I mean, they can't seem to get a handle on some of the content that seems to surround the internet, right? So I think it's still the Wild West, and it's gonna be interesting to see the way that this all evolves.
Yeah.
The way everything is when it's all said and done.
Yeah, it definitely is the Wild West. I I'm I'm still on, like, I love crypto. I love Dogecoin. I loved what was it? Like Binance Coin. A lot of those cryptos I really liked a lot. I think that they have, and honestly, I would be 100% honest. They have so much, like, there's huge what was it? It's there's like a huge hedge fund that has like a $8 billion like fund towards, like an $8 billion like trading fund towards crypto. So crypto is here to stay. Like, it's here to stay. So,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a speculative asset that people are going to be trading up, they're going to be trading it all the way through. So there's not really it's like, we're going to be going through these 4-year ups and downs, and we're going to be going through these 4-year things like like crazy. So it'll be interesting to see in the future what happens to it.
Right.
So,
well, one last question. I won't go as in depth trying to explain the whole thing like I did last time, I think. But I'm going to ask you, last thing about is, crypto might be here to stay, but something that's not here yet, at least for the United States, that seems to be happening in other places in the world, is a CBDC. And do you know much about that? What do you understand about that? And what do you think about having a central bank digital currency?
My view on this is ever changing, because it's a very so I know that the CBDC, so that's basically a central bank currency. It's like the digital dollar for America. It's like the digital the digital euro for Europe. If it's tied to like digital, like social credit type stuff, I mean, that's when it can get out of hand. But if it's still used as kind of how money is used today, where it's just a number in your bank account, it's being, you send it on Venmo, you do it, whatever. Like, if it's like that, that's different. But if it's like a central, like you have the federal government app in your phone, and that's where all your money is, like, that's scary, because that's like, you know what I mean? Like, when it's in a bank, it's like the bank isn't the federal, the bank isn't the federal government. So the bank's not gonna like take you away, you know what I mean? Or like the bank's not gonna just like cancel your money one day, like, because you didn't make your payment on your federal fines or something like that. You know what I mean? So
But if it becomes something like that, where it's tied to those kinds of things, they could do things like that.
I would say it's a terrible idea, but I don't know. I would say it's a terrible.
I agree. I definitely agree.
So I don't know.
Because I mean, like we were talking about earlier too. To say, if they do that, then right now when we pay with cash, like they don't get that percentage fee that we were talking about earlier. In the stream.
Oh, in our last conversation when we were talking about the
they don't get that percentage fee when I go to the store and I pay with cash. When I pay with my $50, like they're not getting a percent. Visa, JP Morgan, whoever, they don't get a percentage off of my cash transactions. But if we had a CBDC, they get a percentage. Whoever's in control of that, they can scrape off a percentage off of every single transaction ever. You know, like I don't know. And to me, like you're talking about, like it seems like this definitely looks like it gives the advantage more to anybody who's making it rather than the people who are receiving it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of.
Yeah, it's. How do you? I know what you mean. Like I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna carry it. How they're gonna carry it out. I hope that they don't carry it out in like a terrible way. You know what I mean? But
most people think it's inevitable, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's like you already have a phone.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, you already have a phone that spies on you. You already have every single camera in your house is spying on you. It's like, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's like if we were gonna make a big deal about losing a lot of these things, it's like, you know, I guess we would have had to do it a while ago. But also, that does come with the other side where you do have to protect yourselves against, you know, having your rights trampled too far. There is a point when something goes too far. So I don't know.
Right.
So,
for sure.
Yeah.
I think in the financial realm, I guess that's where Bitcoin helps, and in the physical realm, that's where those things we were given rights for in the founding of the country are for.
Yeah. There is a point where we could decide to use. There is a point where we could decide to use a more stable like crypto, like as. There is a point where we could use a more stable crypto as a currency if we needed to. You know, I guess that would be Bitcoin. Just use pieces of Bitcoin. So.
Oh, well, you know, I think when that one gets, like, it's not going to be in our lifetime that thing will be stable enough for it. I think that you can maybe, hopefully in the future, tie some kind of asset to it, you know, that and then you use that as your intermediary. I don't know. There's not a lot of good options currently.
Yeah.
I think cash is still a good option.
I mean, cash is a good option until it doesn't exist anymore.
Cash for a while.
I know that they're trying to keep cash going for a long time, and I hope that they don't.
I hope they do for a while longer. I prefer that over.
Yeah.
If someone can convince me of a digital way that's better than keeping cash, other than what we've got in the form of Bitcoin, and even though Bitcoin can't function as its currency, like if you can't, I don't know, be hard pressed to convince me.
To convince you of
crazy. You convince me that a digital dollar, something like a CBDC, could be something that could be beneficial for the people receiving it and using it, rather than the people that are trying to put it on us.
I think it's gonna have two effects. It's gonna have two effects. It's either one, you're not gonna feel it at all, and it's literally just your paycheck is now electronic currency that was already electronic anyways. So instead of saying USD, it could say USDC or whatever you were saying. So, and then it's either going to be like that, or it's going to be like, oh shit, it's on a federal app. That federal app has, you know, your passport on it. It has your money. Like if you're, you know, if you're a fugitive, or if you piss off the wrong people, or you break the law, then boom, you're done. You know what I mean? So they wipe out your money or whatever. So. Yep, that would be pretty crazy. That would be nuts. I don't even want to think about that happening. That'd be weird. You all wake up and you look at your wallet and it's all your money's gone. You're like,
you got a notification because of, you know, you did this. You know, now your money's gone, and you should be receiving a visit to your house at such and such a time. Don't leave. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, that's funny.
We can see where you're at.
So before we finish off, I have one last question. Are you trading any cryptos right now? Any stock right now, or you were into
No, I'm
Ripple,
not
right?
trading. What?
You were into Ripple, right?
Well, so like I follow it and learn about it. I don't own any. I actually was thinking about buying some. That's just what I do is for the most part I just buy and hold. Like right now I
Yeah.
hold ETH, Cardano, CRO, and I own Pepe.
Pepe the Frog, the froggy.
Yeah.
Well, that's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah. I bought the like $80 of it. It's worth like $200 right now or something. Um It did get up to like six, but I didn't take my profits. I just want to ride it, see what happens in the bull market.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, yeah, I would
Like,
buying it right now is great because you buy it right now and then like when you sell it like a year or two from now, if once the Bitcoin frenzy starts again, that'll be worth some money, man. I would buy it. I would buy a lot of that stuff right now while it's really, really low. And if you hold on to it for a few years, you'll probably get some good cash. But just make sure you check the graphs and make sure that it's done it before, like that it's done the run.
oh yeah,
That it's rose with like
yeah.
the speculative
I got
wave.
some good TA guys that I listen to. I enjoy listening to TA, watching it. I want to learn some more about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I right now just DCAing when I can into any of those four that I got, and then looking to start maybe DCAing into something new like XRP. But
That'd be dope. That'd be dope.
yeah, I actually thought about selling my car. I
Really?
thought about selling my car and getting like a cheaper one for a little while. But yeah, because I could get a good amount of money out of my car, and then I could buy one that's still all right
Are
with it,
you are
and with that money, and then I could put the rest of the money away and do some investments, and then maybe, that couple $1,000 turns into like,
yeah.
10, 20,000 bucks, something like that.
So do you owe money on your
That'd be
car?
cool.
Is it like a car loan?
But
Did you hear me? Is it
I'm
like
having a connection issue at the moment.
oh um but yeah I was gonna say if you figure you know s-
I hear you in and out.
oh
I don't see you.
oh okay, well I'm still here. Can you hear me now?
Well, that might be a good spot then for us to, cut it off. I'm super stoked that we got the chance to do this again, and
Yeah.
we'll get the chance to do it again in the future. You know,
Yeah, man, can you
it's
hear me
always
now?
good to talk with you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, I'm glad to be back. Yeah, it was good to. It was nice talking with you, man, and it's always nice talking about crypto and stuff with you. Let me know. I'm down to do whatever if you want to ever chat about any of the topics again or whatever. Just let me know. I'd be down.
For sure. I think we should. We definitely can. That's what I'm here to do.
Okay, I'm gonna check the footage right now and see how it turned out. Make sure it all came through. All right, and I'll let you know. And then I'll send it on over to you.
All right, for sure.
And
Thanks, man. And I got it recorded here on my end too.
nice. I'm jealous of your camera. Is that an iPhone that you're doing it on?
Yeah.
Dude, your camera, it looks so nice. That's dope. I need to get something like that. I'm on a
Well,
shitty
that's
ass
good to know
GoPro.
because yeah, I was part of the reason why I wanted a good phone because I was like, if I'm gonna be doing all this on my phone, it's gonna have some nice setup so my stuff looks as good as I can. Because I was gonna drop money on a camera, and man, drop money on a camera, a good camera that I wanted to do this with.
How much were
Like,
they that you were looking at? Like the 4K cameras?
uh, I don't know, like three, four, five, sometimes six. It just
Damn.
depends. You know? And this phone obviously was a lot more, but I can make tiny little payments on it with the phone company.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's not as bad as dropping like hella money on the camera. That's the point where I'm at right now. I tried to go to the GoPro way, and I had to end.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, don't do that. Do not do that. Just get a regular 4K camera and put it and do that. So, but yeah, I won't hold you much longer. I'll let you go. I think I'm losing. I think
I have 4K set up on this. I don't know.
That looks like a 4K camera. All
right. Well, hey Pat, it's good to connect with you, dude.
Later. See ya.
What if the big one came and turned the clocks back? I bet we leave some pretty good space trash. Whole thing gone in a minute flat. No more Starbucks, no more big bags.